You had a background that probably a lot of fans of yours aren't even completely aware of, which is you're born in England.
Mm-hmm.
Your dad's white, your mom's black.
Mm-hmm.
She's into she's an incredible fashion person who's designing clothes for David Bowie, all these fascinating people. And you come from this, and then you moved to California.
Well, no, I moved to California when I was like really young, 6 years old.
Right.
So my mom, basically, she was based in Los Angeles. My dad's in England. She had gone to Paris. They met over there, and then so my dad was dying to get out of England.
Right.
Didn't get along with his folks, and so we moved to Los Angeles because that's where her work was, and then he started working in LA.
But it's this fascinating sort of combination of, first of all, it's a literal melting pot of cultures, but also fashion. That's always been part, I think, of the look was always important to you as well as the sound. Is that fair to say?
Well, I mean, I was very aware of clothes, obviously, because that was what she was into.
Mm-hmm.
For me, though, I mean, I guess a look is. I mean, I always wore t-shirts and jeans. I haven't changed my sort of fashion structure since I was 6.
Right.
So I don't know if fashion was so much the thing, but I definitely was aware of the fact that you have to have some sort of a persona or an image, because all the people that she worked with, when I was a kid growing up, I was always around it. And these people were all bigger than life. So there was definitely an entertainment, because she worked in the entertainment business on all facets, from TV people to musicians and everything in between. They all had this amazing presence, whether it was the clothes or whether it was they were just really outspoken or whether they were really flamboyant, the way that, whatever. So I was aware of that. And I don't know if I applied it to myself, but I was aware of it.
You just, I mean, certainly, I never knew that your iconic hat was something that you. Just also want to point out that Slash is drinking from an iced coffee. He's not rolling dice. We're playing a game of craps while we talk. But like the hat was, and I can relate to this a little bit because I know it was just kind of almost an accident. You shoplifted.
Totally, yeah.
You shoplifted the hat.
Yeah, I sold it from a place called Retail Slut on Melrose.
Let's give a shout out to Retail Slut.
I remember this because
it's run by Enid Slut, by the way.
There was
just her name.
2 stores. There was Leathers and Treasures and Retail Slut next door. And Tammy Downs, the singer from a band called Faster Pussycat, used to work at Retail Slut. So that's how I remember the name of it. And I went in there and I didn't have any money, and I always used to wear some sort of a hat. It was just part of the sort of completed whatever look you had going on. You had to have a lid. And I went in there and I just saw the top hat and it just spoke to me, I guess, and so I was like, okay, so I just, I figured, what the fuck? I just walk out with it and see what happens, And so I did. And then I went next door to Leathers and Treasures and I stole a Concho belt, and then went back to the apartment me and Axel were living in at the time. And we had a show at the Whiskey that night. So I took the Concho belt and I cut it up and I put it around the hat and I wore it for that night. But it just became a thing where I really identified with it. Like I wore it all the time.
Yeah.
And it was a way you pull it over your eyes. You could hide behind it if you were really high. It was great for bad hair days. I had no intention of it being this long-term thing.
Well, I think nothing starts that way, but you start wearing the hat and then it becomes this thing that you probably, tell me if this has ever happened, and you have to be honest. You walk in, okay? You have to be honest.
Okay.
You go into a restaurant. They're having a real busy night. It's a nice restaurant. You say, hey, I didn't make a reservation ahead of time, but it's 2. You've got room for us. And they say, I'm sorry, we're very full right now. We can't help you out. And you go, I'll be right back. And you go out to the car, and in the back seat, you open the case and you take out the hat and you put it on and you walk back in and go, I'd like a reservation for 2. And they go, right this way.
No, I've never.
Has that ever happened?
No, that's never happened.
Okay.
But I tell you, when it does, I'll let you know.